Groaners, episode 81 of the Groan Zone is here, and phew, so is the hot weather. My brain's been boiling under it writing out the episode for today. The content is back as always, and I'm raring to go. Your alternating games this week are Yes or BS, Who the Hell Am I, and Gimme the Question. Don't forget, if this is your first time listening, stop here, I'll wait, and go back to episode 1, or things will just be totally out of sync. You'll spoil stories for yourself, games, the lot. So do that and go from 1 all the way to 81, and then things will make sense. You'll enjoy things, believe me. But do forgive the first 7 episodes, they are rough. But anyway, brace yourself, Groaners, as down into the zone we go, starting with my groans. People who complain about waiting. So, you've been to your GP, and you get a prescription. You go up to your local pharmacy, and they say it'll be over an hour before you can collect it. Why do some people get angry about waiting? Go do something else. Then come back in 45 minutes, and sit for 15 minutes. Play on your phone. Listen to music. 15 minutes will pass by in no time. Learn patience. When shops leave hot sandwiches out all day, the bread goes hard enough to beat an intruder to unconsciousness and could shatter concrete or possibly bone. Honestly, if no one has came to get the sarnie, just yark it into the bin. It's not food waste, it's just no one wants it. Bin it! One plate wonders in buffet places. Now I get it, some people have small appetites. They might actually pay for a set smaller plate. But by this, I mean those people who go in, pay full price for the buffet, and have 1 plate of chips, and then they claim to be full. However, man, eat for God's sake, or don't come in at all, you food lightweight. There'll be more of my groans next week, but now we have to ask the questions to get the answers, or should I say, ask the answers to get the questions with Gimme the Question. Are you ready, Groaners? Play along live. Let me hear you. Yep, they are all ready and raring to go. There they all are, keying in and typing right now. And I'm sure if you're listening now, then you of course are ready too, dear Groaner. Round 1. Your answer is phantasmagory. Your questions are as follows. Option A. What is the name of a little known 80s horror B-movie? Option B. What is classed as the world's first cartoon? And option C. What is the name of a dusky illuminated painting on show currently at the Tate Gallery in London? Go Groaners live, give me your answers. You play them after the fact. Pause, answer, unpause. What do we have, Groaners? A room split. Here we go again. C's and A's down the line here. Definitive split. Any more? Nope. Time up. Round 2. Your answer is Bianchi. I'll spell that just in case. B-I-A-N-C-H-I. Your questions are as follows. Option A. What is the Italian word for a bakery? B. What is a type of local sauce they use on food in Sardinia? Or option C. What is the name of the world's oldest bicycle manufacturing company? Go Groaners, give me those answers. After the fact, press pause, answer unpause if you're not playing live. Oop, B's are flying in there. Any more Groaners? Any more? B's, an A, another couple of A's, and a C. Okay, Nice nice spread there, Groaners. Okay. Round 3. Your answer is foxglove. Your questions are as follows. Option A. What was the codename given to Avengers Endgame when it was being shipped to cinemas? Option B. What flower is used in medicine to create a drug that controls heart problems? And option C. What is the name of the inspector who helped Sherlock Holmes in the Guy Ritchie remake? What do you have, Groaners? Oh, bees flying in there. Didn't even have to ask there. More bees. Okay, flying in today. If you plain laughed at the fact, pause now, share your answer, and then unpause. The important answers will come later in the show, Groaners. But now, speaking of answers, I don't know about that, as I must question reality now with why oh why? So in March of this year, I heard about a job application. The catch is that it's a penguin post office in Antarctica. The last I heard, penguins can't write, let alone speak English, and also barely any sod lives in Antarctica. Some strange person even got Antarctica, yes, the actual continent, tattooed on the back of their leg to show how up for the job they were. A post office in Antarctica. I've just got to ask, why oh why? We'll ask more whys next week, but it's time to layeth the creepy now into the Groan Zone with Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. Your story this week is called Memory Lane. The old man woke up with a start. He had no idea where he was, and everyone else was gone. He wondered if he got caught up in the blast, but as he looked down at his reflection in a nearby lake, he saw someone he hadn't seen in a very long time. A younger version of himself. The version of himself that existed when his wife and son were still alive. Then an even bigger shock came as he heard an ever-familiar voice, and when he turned around, he saw her. "Hello, Sean. It's been a while, hasn't it?" the woman said. The old man didn't think twice before jumping to his feet and wrapping the woman in his arms. It was a name he hadn't heard in so very long, but to him, his dreams were back and he had simply fallen unconscious from the blast. However, this was no dream. The woman in front of him was truly his wife, and behind her playing with frogs was his son, Fawn. "Am I somehow dead? This can't be real, Dawn. I lost you both so long ago. Why didn't you pass on?" the old man asked. Dawn, his ever-faithful wife, simply smiled and refused. It was just like their wedding day, and she asked if he remembered his vows. The infamous day that became known throughout the whole town, and they were never allowed to forget. The old man got them kicked out of the church and started a whole commotion. As he was asked to speak his vows, the priest had gotten to "until death do you part" before the old man froze. His soon-to-be wife standing in front of him, seeing him unable to finish his vow, started to scare her. A solid 5 minutes of absolute silence as his eyes were locked on hers and everyone began to speculate. Then out of nowhere, he began to shout. The realization of what those words meant caused him to freeze up. It wasn't because he changed his mind though, he had simply realized that it wasn't enough. So he started yelling as loud as he could and going on a rant about how death wasn't enough and that even in every life they would ever live, he would find her again. He truly believed there was no happiness without Dawn in it, no matter how many lives he would live. The brief worry she felt was quickly gone, and as she laughed in relief, she too joined him. The priest asked Dawn to keep him away from the church from that day on and offered her a rosary. He said she would need it with a man like that. Our lives were so simple then. I never liked that priest much though. That was the very early days of the war. You died some years after. I couldn't protect either of you in the end, the old man said. His son Fawn put down the frogs he was holding and walked over to his father, trying to reassure him. He remembered the story his mother kept telling him about his birth and his name. The old man was a soldier by that point. Someone that should never have been chosen for the experiments for that exact reason. The problem was that he knew too much. Nature did nothing wrong, nothing more than a primordial force that settled on Earth to help its creatures thrive. The government and the military wanted control though. That's the truth behind the Great War. The old man had no problems fighting to save as many lives as he could. It had always been his life's purpose, but he refused to fight against something or someone that had done nothing wrong. He heard the rumours of the experiments and of the 3 chosen before him. So while on a leave, he took his pregnant wife and ran. They thought they could hide in the forest, a small cove hidden away by rocks and trees. He built a cabin, and for some months they were fine. Everything was fine, and then one night on a full moon, as the moonlight lit up that small cove, a group of deer stood outside the cabin. As they went to greet the deer, the stag that led the group appeared to bow to dawn. The old man knew Mother Nature was on their side, and he bowed back. That very night, fawn was born, and for a few days life was good. The deer had settled nearby as if to stay close and watch over them, but alas, they were found. Their peaceful life was over, and that's when the old man was chosen. He tried to fight back, but in doing so, the deer tried to fight with him. The military couldn't care less. They killed the deer, burned down the forest, and gave the old man and his family a house close to the facility, somewhere they could never escape from again. Anytime they would leave the house, it would be with security, never to be trusted again. They named their new son Fawn after the deer who tried to protect them. I wish you could stay longer, but you're fading. It's time for you to wake up now. You need to know, she's alive. That girl of yours owns your soul now. She is far more powerful than anyone can imagine. When you're ready, she can set you free and you can join us. We'll be here waiting for you so we can all move on together. Nature's thriving here, which can only mean she's dying. Find her successor and protect her, Dawn said. The old man wrapped his arms around them both, being ever so grateful for a chance to see them again. He promised them next time they meet, he will join them and they will finally get to move on to their next lives together. I read this and was emotional before recording it. I swear it's like the characters are living, breathing people who truly feel and you can actually care about them. Truly nice work, Nicole. More to come next week. And now, I sense bad feelings with Oh Unlucky! This week's Oh Unlucky delves into the world of the UFC, particularly one fighter known as John Bones Jones, who is the unlucky this week. Why? He got arrested for allegedly threatening to kill an anti-doping agent. Mr. Jones, you might want to dial your anger down. It's policy to be checked in your line of work. Unlucky! Who's lucky now at avoiding BS to score points with Yes or BS? Are you ready, Groaners, play along live? Yep, they're typing, they are ready to go. Are you at home, Groaner? Are you ready? You're listening, so you must be. You got this far. Round 1. The Lucky Panda Jack round. Option A. 2023 saw the return of nearly extinct names such as Gary and Jack. Option B. The Lucky Knot Bridge is situated in China. And C. Both wild pandas and pandas in captivity have trouble breeding. Go, Groaners, give me your answers. Those playing after the fact, pause, have a think, and pick your right answer. Everyone's gone for C. Okay, right then. Any more? More C's? More C's. Oh, and an A. It was nearly an all C. All C's there. Round 2. The Hey, is that Shakespeare round. Option A. I might have to spell this because I sure as hell can't pronounce it. I'll give it a go first. Gulielmus Shakespeare, that's Gulielmus, Shakespeare, was William Shakespeare's cousin who acted in some of his plays. B. William Shakespeare survived the plague. C. The Shakespeare family members have no descendants to this day that can be traced back to present day. Oh, the answers came in. I nearly forgot there. Flying in there, we've had B's and A's come in there. And here's where you at home groaner, you pause, think, put your answer down, and then unpause. Okay, moving on. Round number 3, the Walrus Speed Moth round. Option A, the Hindenburg Zeppelin had a top speed of 65 miles an hour. Option B, a Burnet moth can produce its own cyanide. And option C, a mammatus was a prehistoric creature which evolved into the animal now known as a walrus. Go groaners, give me your answers. At home, press pause, answer unpause. What we got? Everyone has gone for B's on that one. Okay, getting lots of definitive answers this week's episode, some very definitive answers. Any more groaners? No, all done. You'll find out later on, groaners, if you were blanked or if you scored points. Don't worry, any points you scored in Gimme the Question are safe. The answers for yes or BS are totally different. But speaking of groaners, it's your time to shine with the audience groan. It's the second turn of DD this week, who groans about speakerphone mode and people that don't know how to use a phone properly. A phone is a pretty straightforward thing to use. When someone rings, you press the answer button and hold the phone up to your ear and start talking. Been like that for decades. Nowadays, you have something called speakerphone, which means the caller's voice comes through the loudspeaker on the phone. This is dead handy if you've got your hands full, you're trying to multitask, and you don't have the ability to put headphones in. Just answer the phone on speaker and start talking. Easy. Unfortunately, some people don't understand the difference and feel they need to do both at the same time, usually in public. So you'll see an idiot walking down the street or sitting on the bus with the phone held up to their face during the phone call, except it's on loudspeaker. You can hear everything. The caller might as well be talking to the whole entire bus. What is the point in using speakerphone when you're doing diddly squat and holding the phone up to your face? Here's an idea. Rather than talking to the bottom of your phone like a lemon, just rotate it so that it's flush with your face, then you can hear them without using a speaker, and you don't look like a complete and utter muppet broadcasting your life story to the entire general public. Oh, wow, another top quality groan, DD. Tune in next week for DD's final in their Groan trilogy. If you'd like to send Groan headquarters your groans, your feedback, your YOYs, your unlucky stories, or your hero or zero of the week nominations, here's how you can do just that. You can join us on Facebook Messenger by hitting Nicole Amos or Mystery Groaner. You can email in to the groanzonepod@gmail.com. You can join in the fun on Facebook groups under the Groan Zone podcast. You can find us on Discord at the Groan Zone, or you can drop your comments on any episode and it'll be added to a future episode. And this brings us neatly onto the zero of the week. Kids are wonderful things, aren't they, in most cases? But why did companies decide to rip off the Willy Wonka experience, such as recently in Glasgow, which was just below bargain basement bin stuff? This spoils childhood stuff for kids. On the other hand, you have another company in the USA who did a different version, which although there were loads of candy and better looking Oompa Loompas and everything else, you had adults getting stoned. Whilst one was kind of better than the other, I'm classing these companies as zeros for cashing in on childhood hopes and falling short. And with that, it's time for the alternating weekly pictorial brain teaser. Yep, it's time for Who the Hell Am I? Your clue on this one is, he might be small, but this cartoon character is mighty. Remember, the image only shows up on Podbean. I'm going to have to get in touch with Spotify and other ones to see why it's not showing up with them. Email into Groan Zone headquarters and let me know if you have any problems and I'll see what I can suss out. Your answer will come next week. And speaking of answers, it's time for those all-important answers for the games. First things first, anagram anxiety from last week. Your anagram was Adler 1, and I was way off. The answer is oleander. A single leaf of the plant is enough to kill an adult human. Yes or BS now? Remember, you have to avoid the BS. If you pick the BS, you're not going to get any points. Here we go. Round 1, the Lucky Panda Jack round. If you went for option A, 2023 saw the return of nearly extinct names such as Gary and Jack, that's true, as well as other names. If you went for option B, the Lucky Knot Bridge is situated in China, that's true again. It is in Changsha City, central China's Hunan province. If you went for option C, both wild pandas and pandas in captivity have trouble breeding, this is actually false. This only occurs in zoo-kept pandas as they are not socialised properly, whereas in the wild, they don't have that problem. In captivity, they keep the male and female pandas separate. That is why, when they're put together, they ain't got a clue what to do. Round 2, the hey, is that Shakespeare round? If you went for option A, Gulielmus Shakespeare was William Shakespeare's cousin who acted in some of his plays, that's completely false. Gulielmus is his birth name is the Latin word for William. If you went for option B, William Shakespeare survived the plague, this is 100% true. He was born in a plague year which killed a fifth of the population of Stratford, where he lived. If you went for option C, the Shakespeare family members have no descendants to this day that can be traced back from the past, that's false. His sister Joan and her husband William Hart still have family around in present day, and she is a Shakespeare, so that counts. Round 3, the Walrus Speed Moth round. If you went for option A, the Hindenburg Zeppelin had a top speed of 65 miles an hour, surprisingly, that's false. Its top speed was 85 miles an hour. If you went for option B, a burnet moth can produce its own cyanide, this is true. It uses this as a form of self-defense. If you went for option C, a mammatus was a prehistoric creature which evolved into the animal known as a walrus, that's completely false. It's actually a type of cloud formation. If you were blanked at any point there, especially in the last round, you've got no points. If you hit any point of BS there, your points are gone. Okay? Moving on. Give me the question. Round 1. Your answer was phantasmagory. Your correct question was option B. What is classed as the world's first cartoon? It was actually created in 1908. Round 2. Your answer was Bianchi. Your correct question was option C. What is the name of the world's oldest bicycle manufacturing company? They were actually founded in Italy in 1885. And round 3. Your answer was foxglove. Your correct question was B. What flower is used in medicine to create a drug that controls heart problems? And with that final answer there, with that final question there, some lucky groaner out there scored points in any one of those games. And now we'll drop into the Groan Zone again next week. Until then, groaners, I'm saying take care now. Bye bye.